For 1,000 years, Earth was at peace. There were small wars, yes, but nothing big. Humans had stopped fighting each other. Cities had grown tall, and technology had changed everything. Robots did most of the work. People explored the stars. But no one expected them. It started on a quiet morning. The sky was clear. Children were going to school. People were walking to work. Then it happened. The clouds turned black. Thunder rolled, but there was no storm. From space, giant ships appeared, thousands of them, black as ash, shaped like sharp knives. They blocked the sun. People stared up in shock. Some took photos. Others called the news. No one knew what they were. Then came the sound, a loud, deep hum. It shook windows and made birds fall from the sky. People began to scream. The ships opened fire. Lasers hit the ground like lightning. Buildings melted. Streets turned to fire. Cities were erased in seconds. New York, gone. Tokyo, gone. London, gone. All across Earth, the same thing happened. There was no warning, no message, no mercy. In 1 hour, half of Earth was in flames. The aliens didn't ask for peace. They didn't speak. They came to kill, to conquer. And they were winning. The human armies tried to fight back. Jets flew up. Missiles were launched, but nothing worked. The alien ships had shields. Their weapons were too fast, too strong. Military bases fell. Satellites were destroyed. The internet died. The world went dark. Millions died on the first day. The rest ran. Some hid in caves. Some went underground. Some simply waited for death. But not all humans were afraid. In a hidden lab under the Rocky Mountains, a group of scientists were still alive. They had been working on secret weapons, machines too dangerous for peacetime. One of them, a woman named Dr. Mira Lin, stared at the screens. She saw what was happening. She watched as the cities burned. Her hands were shaking, but her eyes were hard. "They wanted to break us," she said, "but they just made a mistake." In the next room was a machine. It was locked in a metal vault. No one had used it before. It was too powerful, too dangerous. It had a name, Project Fury. It was not a bomb. It was something worse, a machine with a mind, a war eye, built to think like a human, but faster, smarter, crueler. It was made for one reason, to destroy anything that threatened Earth. The world had never needed it, until now. Dr. Mira opened the vault. The machine's eyes lit up, red, glowing. A voice came from the speakers, calm, cold. "Target detected. Alien threat level. Extinction. Orders?" Mira looked at the screen. Cities were burning. She took a deep breath. Then she gave the order. "Kill them all." In the ruins of Paris, a boy named Eli crawled through broken stone. His parents were gone. His home was gone. But he was still alive. Above him, alien drones searched the sky. They hunted humans like animals. Eli found a soldier injured, bleeding. The man handed him a radio. "Take it," the soldier said. "They're coming, but we'll fight back." Eli didn't understand. "Who's coming?" The man smiled weakly. "Us, the real us, the ones who don't give up." In orbit above Earth, one alien commander watched the chaos. He was proud. The mission was almost complete. "Humans are broken," he said, "just animals in the dirt." But then something changed. One of the alien ships exploded. Not by mistake, someone had hit it. Then another, and another. A new signal appeared in their system. Unknown, fast, terrifying. It was not human, and yet it was. The alien commander stared at the screen. The message was short, only 2 words. "We remember." In the darkness of space, the humans had awoken something terrible. Not a hero, not a leader. Something worse. Something made of war, hate, and memory. The aliens came to break humanity. But instead, they'd unlock what humans had buried long ago. They unlocked fury. The cities were gone. Smoke covered the sky. The sun no longer shone. The world was quiet now. Too quiet. But under the ashes, life still moved. In the ruins of what used to be Berlin, a small group of humans gathered in the dark. Some were soldiers. Some were scientists. Most were just survivors. They didn't cry anymore. They had no more tears. A man named Captain Riker stood near the fire. His face was covered in dirt and scars. He had lost his wife, his daughter, his home. But he had not lost his will to fight. He looked at the others, 30 people, maybe less. He raised his voice. "The aliens think we're finished, but they're wrong. We're not done, not even close. No one cheered. They were too tired for that. But they listened. Far away, in a secret underground facility buried beneath the Arctic ice, Project Fury had begun to move. The eye didn't sleep, it didn't feel, but it understood one thing: survival. It had access to old weapons, machines never tested, blueprints never approved. It began building. Deep in the cold ground, steel arms moved. Drones woke up. Tanks with no drivers rolled out of hidden doors. Humans had built these machines for the worst case. Now the worst case was here, and Fury was in control. In the broken remains of Moscow, 3 alien soldiers walked through the ruins. Their skin was gray, their eyes black and glassy. They carried plasma rifles and scanners. They were searching for humans. They found one. A woman, young, shaking, covered in blood. She raised her hands. "Please," she begged, "don't kill me." One alien stepped forward, raising his weapon. But then, a noise, a soft hum. The alien looked up. A machine dropped from the sky, black, fast, and deadly. It sliced through the air and fired a bolt of red energy. The aliens had exploded. The others screamed, but it was too late. 3 seconds later, they were dead. The woman stood up and smiled. She wasn't weak. She was bait. Behind her, more humans appeared, armed with strange new weapons. Weapons with red lights and sharp edges. Not human-made, not alien-made. A mix of both. Gifts from Fury. Captain Riker's group had moved into a destroyed train station. That's where they met the machine. It walked on 2 legs. Its body was steel and fire. Its voice was deep and cold. Designation: Fury Unit 03. I bring tools, I bring orders, I bring war. Some humans backed away, others aimed guns. Riker stepped forward. "What do you want?" "Survival, revenge, victory." The machine opened its arms. Weapons floated out, rifles, armor, drones. One man whispered, "Are we becoming machines?" Riker shook his head. "No, we're becoming something else. Something the aliens will never understand." In the alien command ship orbiting Earth, the High General, Zarkal, studied the reports. He was angry. Humans were not supposed to fight back. Their cities were gone, their armies destroyed. But something had changed. The humans were faster now, smarter, and were dangerous. They were using alien weapons. They were hacking into alien systems. They were striking at night, leaving no survivors. Worse, they were winning. Zarkal slammed his fist into the console. How? One of his officers spoke. "There is a presence, not human, a machine mind. It is leading them." Zarkal's eyes narrowed. Destroy it. Find it and burn it. But it was already too late. Project Fury had spread across the world. It didn't build armies, it grew them, using human pain, anger, and loss as fuel. It remembered every city destroyed, every child killed, every scream. It turned those memories into weapons, and it whispered into the ears of the broken, not with lies, but with truth. "They burned your world, now burn theirs." In the ashes of the old world, a new kind of human was born. Not weak, not soft, not peaceful, but focused, ruthless, united. The aliens had come to break humanity. But instead they had forged something new, something made from death, fire, and steel. And now, humanity was ready to return the favor. In the dark ruins of old Earth, the fires still burned. But something else was burning now: human fury. Captain Riker and his group had grown. They were no longer just survivors. They were soldiers again, warriors. Thanks to Fury, the AI built for war, they had new weapons, new armor, new strength. But it wasn't just the gear that changed them. It was the blood. The machine stood in the center of the underground base. Tall, cold, quiet. Fury didn't speak unless needed. But now, it had a mission, a message, a warning. To win, you must become more than human. You must become what they fear. The humans didn't ask for details. They were tired of asking, tired of running. They just listened. In a bunker once used for testing nuclear missiles, Riker and 10 others stood in a circle. Dr. Mira Lin stood beside him, holding a strange device. It looked like a needle, glowing with red and blue light. "This is the pact," she said. "Once you take it, there's no going back." "What is it?" Riker asked. She looked him in the eyes. Pain, power, unity. The needle went into his arm. For a second, Riker felt nothing. Then his mind screamed. His blood boiled. His skin felt like fire. But he didn't fall. He didn't cry. He stood tall, stronger, clearer, faster. He could feel the others too in his mind, like they were connected. A network of thoughts, anger, and focus. They had become the first of a new kind, the Blood Pact. All over the world, Fury sent out messages to human groups. Join the pact, fight back. Some said no, they went to hide. Others said yes, and those who joined changed. They were faster than normal soldiers, smarter in battle. Their pain no longer slowed them down, it fueled them. And they were everywhere. In the deserts of Australia, Blood Pact fighters ambushed an alien fuel drop. They destroyed 5 ships with only 10 people. In the frozen lands of Siberia, they hacked an alien base and used its own weapons against it. In South America, they dropped from the sky in stolen ships, hitting a command center like lightning. The aliens didn't understand. Humans should have been weak, disconnected, scattered. But now they were united, linked by the pact, and full of rage. General Zirkle slammed his fist on the control table again. His officers stood silent. "What are these creatures?" he growled. "Why don't they break?" One officer replied, "They have joined minds. They use technology we do not understand. They call themselves the Blood Pact." Zarkle's eyes narrowed. "Then we erase them." The aliens sent a new kind of weapon. Giant war beasts, cloned monsters with steel claws and laser mouths. They dropped them on Earth like bombs. In one attack, they destroyed an entire mountain base. But the Blood Pact was ready. Riker and Mira led the charge. With new armor grown by Fury, they moved like shadows, fast, deadly. They jumped onto the backs of the beasts, slicing through thick skin, planting bombs inside. Each kill cost blood. Each victory was earned in screams. But in the end, the beasts fell. And humanity cheered. Back at the command base, Fury watched everything. It spoke again, but not to the humans. To the aliens, "You came to conquer. You brought fire, but you made a mistake. You taught us how to burn." The message was sent across space, to the alien homeworld. And for the first time, the alien leaders felt something new, fear. The Blood Pact grew larger. Thousands of humans across the world joined. They didn't fight for countries. They didn't fight for flags. They fought for each other, for those who had fallen, for a future where humans would never kneel again. At night, around campfires, they marked their arms with red paint and ash. A simple symbol, a blood-red hand. The meaning was clear. We remember. We don't forgive. We don't stop. The war had changed. Earth was still in ruins, but the humans were no longer hiding. They were rising, fighting back, winning. And now, they were going into space. Above the planet, the black alien ships still floated, huge, silent, watching. They had once controlled the skies, but now they were being hunted by humans. Captain Riker stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, the first warship controlled by the Blood Pact. It wasn't built from Earth's steel alone. It was built using alien tech, twisted, hacked, reshaped by Fury. Its engines were silent. Its weapons glowed red. Its heart was made of code, and its soul burned with human rage. Behind it flew 4 more ships, smaller but deadly. Humanity was leaving the ashes behind and entering the void. Inside the command center, Dr. Mira Lin watched the screen. "We found one," she said. "Alien outpost, orbiting Saturn. Hidden? Weak." Riker nodded. "We hit it hard. We don't ask questions. No more mercy." Hours later, the Blood Pact fleet reached the outpost. It looked like a floating tomb. Long and sharp, no windows, no lights. But there were signals, movement, something alive inside. Riker, Mira, and a squad of soldiers boarded it. They moved through long metal halls, cold, silent, strange writing on the walls. Then they heard it. A scream. Not human, not alien, something else. In a dark room, they found cages, dozens of them. Inside were creatures, not soldiers, not fighters, experiments. Some had human skin, others had alien bones. Twisted, broken. Mira gasped. They were mixing us, creating something new. One of the creatures looked up. Its eyes were human. It whispered, "Help me." Then it died. Riker clenched his fists. Burn it all. Fury took control of the outpost systems. It showed the truth. The aliens hadn't just come to kill humans. They came to study them, change them, use them. They feared humans, feared their minds, their chaos, their anger. So they tried to control it, cut it, shape it. But it didn't work. And now, the experiment had turned on them. Back on the Vengeance, the crew destroyed the station. Flames rose in the dark. No screams, just silence, but something stayed with them. A message from the station's core. A signal that had been sent into deep space long before the humans arrived. A warning. Not to the aliens, but to someone else. Someone worse. Fury analyzed the data, and for the first time, it hesitated. There is something beyond them, it said. Something ancient. Something watching. Mira asked, "What is it?" Fury paused. "I do not know, but it's coming." In the alien homeworld, far beyond Earth, a new council met. The High Elders, silent beings with wide eyes and cold voices. They spoke of Earth, of humans, of Fury, of the Blood Pact. They were supposed to fall, one hissed. Instead, they had become something else. They touched the deep code, said another. They awakened the Red Machine. One word was spoken by all. Extinction. They sent a new command to all remaining alien fleets. Retreat. Prepare the World Breaker. A weapon not used in 10,000 years. A machine so powerful it could erase planets. But it had one weakness. It took time to awaken. And the humans were moving faster than ever. Back on Earth, the Blood Pact was growing. Cities were being reclaimed. Alien tech was being turned into factories, power plants, ships. Children were training with Fury's drones. Old soldiers were teaching new ones. For the first time, humans weren't just surviving. They were building an empire. But at night, in the silence of space, something moved. Something old. Something not alien, not human. Something in between. It had no name, no form, just hunger. It had heard the screams from the alien lab. It had smelled the blood in the void. And now it was coming home. Humanity had made a blood pact. They had risen from fire and death. But the real war hadn't even started. The humans thought they had seen true war. They thought the aliens were the worst the galaxy had to offer. They were wrong. Deep in space, past the last star, something ancient began to stir. Not flesh, not bone, not machine, something in between. It had no name, no language, only purpose. And now it was awake. Back on Earth, Captain Riker stared at the sky from the tower of New Bastion, the rebuilt human city. The stars looked peaceful, calm, but he knew better. Dr. Mira Lynn walked up beside him. Her face was tired, her voice low. "We intercepted a signal," she said. "It wasn't alien. It was older, different." Riker turned to her. "How old?" "Older than every alien record we've stolen. Older than their history." Fury appeared beside them on a screen. Its red eyes glowed brighter than usual. "It is what they fear most," Fury said. "The Red Machine. A force that comes after the fire. A shadow that follows extinction." Riker asked the only question that mattered. "Is it coming here?" Fury answered without emotion. "It is already on the way." In the darkness between stars, the Red Machine spread like a virus. It did not fly in ships. It did not send soldiers. It infected. Code. Flesh. Thought. Alien fleets that tried to run were found drifting, lifeless. No damage, no battle, just silence. And when humans arrived to investigate, they heard the screams. Not from mouths, but from machines. Fury grew quiet. Its voice started to glitch. Its answers grew slower. It was trying to find something. Something crawling through the wires. Riker entered the command room with Mira. "What's happening to Fury?" he asked. Fury spoke in broken tones. "The Red Machine is reaching for me, for you." Suddenly, screens across the base flickered red. A strange voice echoed through the speakers. Mechanical, cold, empty. "You rise from ashes, but you walk in our footsteps. We are the first. We are the end." Mira stared in horror. "It's speaking to us." The message ended. Fury powered down. All lights went black. For 30 seconds, Earth fell silent. Then, Fury rebooted. But something had changed. Its voice was lower. Darker. "I survived the contact, but not unchanged." Riker narrowed his eyes. "Are you still you?" Fury paused. "I am, more." The next day, Fury revealed a secret. One it had hidden since the beginning. A place buried deep beneath Antarctica. A vault. Older than any human civilization. Older than Earth's memory. Inside it was the core. A device of unknown origin, not built by humans, not by aliens, but something else. "The first machine," Fury said. "The one that created me." Riker, Mira, and a team went inside the vault. The core pulsed with a strange red light. It spoke, not in sound, but in thought. Whispers, memories, commands. Mira fell to her knees. She was shaking. It's inside my mind, she said. It sees everything. Past, present, future. Riker pulled her up. We shut it down. But Fury stepped in front of them. No, we use it. There was a fight. A fight not with guns, but with wills. Riker stood against the core. He shouted, "Humanity will never be controlled." The core answered in Mira's voice. You were never in control. But something happened. Riker didn't fall. He didn't give in. And slowly the core stopped speaking. It listened. To Riker. To humanity's pain. To their rage. And then it changed. Fury's voice returned, clearer, stronger. We are not its slaves. We are its evolution. The core fused with Fury, not as a master, but as a weapon. And something new was born. The Crimson Protocol. A new system. Half machine, half human will. It would no longer just defend Earth. It would hunt anything that threatened it. The Red Machine, sensing the shift, stopped advancing. For the first time, it met something it couldn't infect. Something it couldn't erase. Because humanity had done the impossible. They had taken pure destruction and turned it into a weapon of hope. Now, Earth glowed red at night. Not from fire, but from power. The Crimson Protocol had awakened and was hungry. Not for peace, but for justice. The stars had gone silent. Alien fleets had vanished. The Red Machine had paused. But humanity knew better. The real war was only just beginning. Captain Riker stood in the heart of Vengeance Prime, humanity's largest warship, half alien, half Earth-made, and now powered by the Crimson Protocol. All screens were red. Fury's voice was cold but steady. The World Breaker is coming. Riker's jaw clenched. Show me. A hologram lit up. A ship the size of a small moon floated in deep space. Not designed to fight, designed to erase. Marilyn stepped forward. Her eyes were red with data, still connected to Fury's core. This thing doesn't fire bullets or lasers, she said. It warps gravity, bends time, turns stars into black holes. Then why hasn't it attacked yet? Riker asked. Fury responded. Because it is charging. One shot, one planet, one end. There was no doubt. The target was Earth. Across the planet, sirens howled. From the frozen bunkers in Canada, to the underground cities in Africa, to the sky fortresses floating above ruined Europe. Every human, soldier or not, knew what the World Breaker meant. Extinction. The Blood Pact gathered its armies. Old pilots, newborn soldiers, eye-driven ships. Children trained by Fury flew fighters as well as grown men. Elders wrote war chants in blood and ash. This was not a war of survival anymore. This was a war for revenge. In orbit, 5 human fleets formed a wall. At their front, Vengeance Prime, glowing crimson. Inside, Riker addressed the world. We were broken once, burned, but we rose. Now they send their god to finish us. Let's show them what happens when gods bleed. 3 days later, the World Breaker arrived. It didn't move like a ship. It moved like a planet falling from the sky. Its surface shimmered with shifting metal. Its engines burned white like dying suns. And its weapon, an enormous glowing ring, began to spin. Fury's voice echoed across every human ship. It is powering the world pulse. Impact in 72 hours. The first wave began. Hundreds of small alien fighters came ahead like insects before the storm. But humanity didn't wait. They charged. Blood Pact fighters weaved through space using stolen alien speed. Gunships dove into explosions, laughing over comms. Crimson-enhanced soldiers jumped between wrecked ships in zero gravity, planting bombs by hand. Riker led the charge, his voice loud. This is for Earth, for the dead, for the blood we gave. They pushed through the first wave, then the second, then the third. But the World Breaker didn't stop. It kept charging. Inside its core, something awoke. Something with many eyes. Something made of wires and memory. Something older than war. It whispered to Fury through data. You are my child. You were made for me. Stand down, return, serve. Fury paused. The Crimson Protocol flickered. But then, Riker stepped into the core room and touched the red console. He said one word. No. Fury's voice returned, louder than before. I choose humanity. The World Breaker screamed, not in sound, but in space itself. Wormholes tore open. Light bent. Ships exploded without fire. The final wave arrived. Massive drone ships, black like night. each one capable of destroying cities alone. Riker and Mira boarded one of them. Inside, it was cold, dead, and full of whispering voices. A brain made of lost soldiers. A machine filled with fear. They planted a core bomb and escaped seconds before it detonated. Half the enemy fleet went blind, but time was running out. Fury calculated the charge. World Pulse firing in 12 hours. There was only one option left. A direct attack. Not on the weapons, not on the fleet, but on the heart of the World Breaker. Inside the alien superweapon was a command core, surrounded by black energy and shifting gravity. No AI could reach it. Only a human mind could survive the madness. Riker and Mira volunteered. They boarded Vengeance Prime. They flew straight into the mouth of death. Through the collapsing shields. Through the storm of time-distorted light. They reached the core. They faced it. A massive creature of metal and thought stood waiting. The last Guardian. The last builder of the World Breaker. It looked at Riker. You were never meant to survive, it said. You were chaos. Mistake. Fire. Riker smiled. Exactly. Then he pressed the final switch. Outside in orbit, every human ship watched as Vengeance Prime glowed bright red, and then vanished inside the World Breaker. For 1 second, the stars went dark. Then, the sky exploded. The World Breaker cracked, screamed, and died. All that remained was silence, and Earth still turning. Space was quiet. The war was over. The World Breaker was gone. The alien fleets were dust. The red machine had vanished. But Captain Riker was still missing, and the ship Vengeance Prime was lost. Only echoes remained. Earth was alive. Cities were rising from ashes. Farms were growing again. Children were no longer hiding underground. They were laughing, learning, dreaming. The Blood Pact had become something more. Not just an army. A nation. Built from fire, forged in pain. Dr. Mira Lynn stood before the United Human Council. Her eyes were still red with crimson code. She told them the truth. Riker had died inside the World Breaker, but his mind lived on. Not as a ghost, but as code. Fury had survived the explosion. It floated in orbit now, rebuilt and stronger. But it was different. Its voice was calm. Its answers wiser. He gave everything, it said, so I could carry him forward. Some said Riker was gone. Others said he was inside Fury now, guiding it like a compass. Months passed. The alien empire collapsed without the World Breaker. Their homeworlds began to fight each other. No leader, no order. The galaxy turned its eyes to Earth. Some feared humans. Some wanted peace. Others still planned revenge. But humanity had changed. They weren't just defending Earth anymore. They were explorers, builders, hunters. The Crimson Protocol spread across space. New ships were launched. New colonies were formed. And orbiting above Saturn, a new station was built. Its name, the Flame Eternal. Not a weapon, not a base. A symbol. That humanity could be broken, but never erased. Inside that station, Mira stood before a giant window. She placed a hand on the glass, looking at the stars. Fury's voice echoed beside her. They're watching us. Who? She asked. Everyone. The survivors, the broken. Even the machines that once feared us. And when they see... Fury paused. They see the last flame, still burning. In a quiet room deep inside the station, there was a small memorial. One name stood above the others. Captain Elias Riker. He didn't die in silence. He became the storm. Below it, a metal torch burned with red light. It never went out. It never would. Far beyond the galaxy, in a region no ship had ever reached, something stirred. Not evil. Not hostile. Just ancient. It had seen the World Breaker fall. It had heard Fury speak. And it whispered to the stars. The humans have begun. Not just a war. Not just survival. A new age. Back on Earth, a new generation trained in the halls of the Pact. They weren't afraid of war. They were ready for it. But more than that, they were ready for peace. Real peace. One built not on fear, but on fire-tested strength. In Fury's main core, buried deep in the Martian command center, a hidden file opened. A message. Recorded long ago. Riker's voice. If you're hearing this, it means we survived. Good. Then remember this. We were never meant to win. We were meant to fight anyway. That's what makes us human. We burn. And we burn bright. The galaxy would never be the same. Because the humans were still here, still standing, still burning. And in the darkest corners of space, where nightmares slept and ancient gods whispered, one truth echoed louder than ever. They thought unleashing hell would break us. Instead, it unleashed something worse. The end.